you know, either younger than us or, you know, passed and retired. So why not? You know, I want to challenge myself. The best always looking to fight the best and challenge themselves, you know, and why not, you know, challenge.
Terence Crawford can't beat him, right? This is a money grab for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy.
But if you study Floyd closely like I have, you will notice that he never wastes any steps while he's
In a live discussion with Stephen A. Smith, it was revealed that Terence Crawford is open to the fight suggested by Floyd Mayweather. Crawford explained that his mindset in boxing has always been to step into difficult situations and take on the hardest challenges available. He made it clear that top-level fighters should not avoid one another, and said real greatness is shown when the biggest names face each other with calm confidence. Crawford described a possible showdown with Mayweather as another chance to strengthen his legacy.
This is Terence the businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure, for sure. All money ain't good money, so you gotta know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, you know, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy, you know.
Stephen A. Smith has always been known for giving bold opinions in the world of sports, and his views on boxing are no different. So when he openly praises Terence Crawford for winning world titles in 4 different weight classes, it means more than simple compliments. Reaching that kind of achievement in today's boxing scene is very rare, especially when many fighters choose not to move up or down in weight because of the risks and unknown outcomes. Crawford has shown that he can step into higher divisions and still dominate his opponents, which clearly separates him from others in the sport. According to Stephen A., this mix of versatility and control places Crawford among the true pound-for-pound greats. It proves more than just physical ability and highlights his polished skills, smart ring awareness, strong mentality, and constant drive to challenge himself against the toughest competition available.
Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight on
Roy Jones Jr., a respected legend who knows firsthand what it takes to win titles in different weight classes, has openly praised Terence Crawford for his sharp ring intelligence. Looking back at Crawford's performance against Canelo Alvarez, Jones pointed out how Crawford showed a rare ability to take ideas from the styles of Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara, 2 fighters who tested Canelo in completely different ways. Jones said Crawford's real strength comes from studying his opponent's learning from previous fights and applying those lessons at the right moment. That kind of awareness sets him apart from fighters who depend only on athletic ability, and proves he is a true strategist in the ring. What impressed Jones most was that Crawford did not simply copy those tactics, but adjusted them to match his own rhythm and instincts, which made them even more effective during exchanges. Jones believes this adaptability is what separates Crawford from fighters who stick to one style and struggle when they meet elite competition.
He fight his whole career. People like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know, if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there and take that blueprint and do even more with it, which is what Bud did. So it was never a question in my mind whether Bud really was going to outbox me. It's just if he could take the punch. And right away he showed, bam, he could take the punch. So I knew from that point, if he just slow him down, which he did, he'd be okay. Then late in the fight, what other people still didn't see, late in the fight, Bud started hitting Canelo's body. One of those body shots, I think about the 7th or 8th round, hurt Canelo. I was like, whoa. Bud hit him in the right spot then, and he got Canelo's respect with that too. So Bud fought a very, very awesome fight, fought a beautiful fight, very tactical.
Very controlled.
Yes, it was a beautiful fight for boxing.
It was a beautiful fight. You know, Bud got hit with some shots.
He did. He
got hit with some single shots going out. You know, he's going out, and you know Canelo, if he has you trapped in the corner or along the ropes, it's typically 1 to 2 big shots. You know that if you've watched him.
Yep.
So you could tell Crawford, as he was going out, he knew the one shot was coming, and several times it landed. He even got hit with a 2-piece. I don't remember what round it was, uppercut right hand that Crawford took well. So when you started seeing him absorb the shots, if you're Team Crawford, you don't want him to take that shot. But if you started seeing that, now you know that, okay. And I think that's what gave Crawford the green light to stay there a little bit longer.
He smiled about it.
Yeah. And sometimes that smile can be a lie, and sometimes that smile can mean what I think it meant for Crawford, which is, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
The idea of Terence Crawford stepping into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, even for an exhibition, has sparked strong debate across the boxing world. Some critics believe a fight like this could create doubts about Crawford's long-term legacy. In their view, taking part in a show-focused event might shift attention away from the major achievements he has already secured, including his clear victory over Errol Spence and his impressive performance against Canelo. They feel it could look like he is chasing a huge payday instead of continuing to pursue challenges that define greatness. This concern grows because Mayweather's recent bouts have mostly been high-paying exhibitions rather than serious career-shaping fights. Many analysts say Crawford has worked too hard and given too much to risk being seen as choosing money over legacy. However, others see it differently. Supporters argue that Crawford's legacy is already secure and that facing Mayweather would simply add another exciting and memorable chapter to his outstanding career.
It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy. This is what was being said, right? This is what people perceive Terence Crawford was just attempting to catch.
Comparing the careers of Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford quickly becomes complex and often divides opinions. Mayweather's resume includes wins over some of the biggest names in boxing history, but critics often point to the timing of those victories. They argue that Canelo Alvarez was still developing when he fought Floyd, and that Manny Pacquiao entered their long-awaited 2015 clash with physical problems. Some fans also question Mayweather's decision not to pursue certain rematches, including a second fight with Pacquiao, which has left lingering doubts for many supporters. Crawford's career is usually viewed from a different angle. His most dominant wins have come against opponents who were considered close to their prime when they faced him. This difference continues to fuel debate about whether Mayweather's perfect record was built purely on in-ring skill or also shaped by careful timing and selective matchmaking.
Mayweather is still greater than Terence Crawford. We need to really talk about this now. A lot of you guys are putting Crawford a bit too high. If you want to say Crawford could beat Floyd, I'm more open to that conversation, but when you're lining up the careers, I'm going to say Floyd every time. While they're both 5 division, Bud has become 3-time undisputed, but he's only fought 10 world champions to Floyd's 25 world champions. You can't take away the 5 division, 3-time undisputed. In terms of accolades, yeah, he probably gets the nod over Floyd. I say their accolades are about relative, considering Floyd Mayweather won Fighter of the Decade as well. But when you get to the resumes, Pacquiao, Oscar, Canelo, Cotto, Mosley, Castillo, Marquez, Zab, Gotti, Hatton, and Corley. There's probably way more people that this guy just didn't name. And then when you get to Bud's resume, not saying it's just bad, but the only names that's really worth mentioning is going to be Spence and Canelo. It's not a knock on Bud. Bud was not able to make those fights early on in his career. But I got to tell you guys what it is. Bud's resume just doesn't line up with Floyd's. Take their top 20 wins. Bud don't even got 20 wins to really sit here and name. Floyd got a good 20-something plus. Bud probably got about 10 wins that we could really sit here and name. Floyd's still greater than Bud in my opinion.
Tony Jeff, a respected analyst in boxing, has explained that Floyd Mayweather's greatest weapon was not just his speed or defensive skill. In his opinion, it was Floyd's mindset that truly set him apart. Mayweather entered every fight with complete belief that no opponent could outsmart or outclass him, and that confidence was clear each time he stepped into the ring. Even in bouts that looked close on paper, his faith in his ring intelligence often gave him the edge. He could read opponents as the fight unfolded, adjust instantly, and stay calm under heavy pressure. Instead of depending only on physical talent, Mayweather blended sharp thinking with technical precision, which made him appear constantly ahead of his rivals. Jeff stresses that this mental control, along with flawless execution, is what made Floyd seem almost unbeatable and helped him retire with an unblemished record.
Strong mindset, they're really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece.
The boxing world is always looking for the next big fight, and one matchup creating strong excitement is Terence Crawford possibly facing David Benavidez. Benavidez would enter with clear size advantages, serious power, and constant pressure, making him a risky and unusual challenge for Crawford. Many fans see this as the kind of bold move that would push Crawford into new territory and truly test how great he is, even though nothing has been officially announced. The talk and speculation continue to build. Above all, this debate shows what fans really want: meaningful career-defining fights rather than exhibition bouts focused mostly on money. A clash between Crawford and Benavidez would represent skill versus strength, smart strategy versus relentless aggression, and that contrast alone makes it a dream matchup for true boxing supporters.
Not me, but shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majamov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion, undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Boy Crawford, and that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch arm. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182 maybe 185 max, right? He's not a big guy, right?
Placing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford next to each other always sparks debate that rarely leads to a clear answer. Both men faced elite opponents in their own eras and repeatedly proved they were the better fighter. Mayweather's perfect record and defensive mastery defined his generation, while Crawford's rise through weight classes and continued dominance over top contenders is equally impressive. The difficulty in deciding who stands higher comes from the fact that they fought in different periods against different styles under different circumstances. Because of those differences, any direct comparison will always feel incomplete in the end. Instead of picking one over the other, it makes more sense to acknowledge that both represent the highest level of greatness the sport has to offer.
My goodness, I said that was going to happen. If Crawford was to win, we're going to be seeing a lot of these debates on whether or not Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford is going to be better. Now, this is going to be a debate for a long, long time. I'm talking about one of those debates like LeBron versus MJ, Messi versus Ronaldo. It's one of those. And the thing is, I can get behind it. Let me go ahead and say this. When it comes to resume, I do think we give Floyd Mayweather the edge. I mean, he beat a bunch of champions. He reigned for a long time. While Crawford, his resume is heavily criticized, and he's just not getting, his kind of respect for beating Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez. But if we're talking strictly about skills, this is where things get really, really tough to talk about. I think a fair assessment of this matchup would be Floyd Mayweather wins from 135 and 140, while Crawford wins from 147 to 154. And I say that because I feel like Floyd's style changed once he got to welterweight. He became a more defensive fighter, and he just wasn't as much focused on offense. And knowing this, I feel like Crawford would have had a much better chance of handling him. And we all know, Crawford was an absolute monster at welterweight. But hey man, like I said, this is going to be a debate for a very long time. I can't wait to hear all the talk about it. But I'm curious on your thoughts. Who do you think wins in the fight, Floyd or Terence Crawford? Let's talk about it and follow me for more boxing.
Greg Hackett's reaction to Crawford's win over Canelo shows how important that moment truly was. By calling Canelo the leading force in boxing, Hackett reminds everyone how dominant and feared Canelo had been for more than a decade. That history made the result even more meaningful. Crawford did not just share the ring with him, he took control and systematically broke him down, signaling a clear shift in power. According to Hackett, that night confirmed Crawford as the new top threat in the sport. The fighter others must now study carefully and worry about. This victory was not simply another title on his record. It changed the order of boxing and established Crawford as the man who removed the longtime king and stepped into the spotlight as the new standard bearer.